All right, we are back after I think almost a year. The last one, when I checked, was
What did December last year?
it was like goodbye 2024
Okay.
or something like that. So it's been almost a year since we've done one of these podcasts. It used to be monthly where we talked about it. For the first one coming back, I think it would just be like instead of like the year end review or anything like that, which we'll probably do in December. More of like why we're bringing it back, why we couldn't do it, I guess, without going in too much detail about it. So yeah, I want to bring it back because I think it's something that there was something there in the podcast, which is more so not about us updating what we did each month, because really stuff doesn't change that much, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into the questions that people sent in. It used to be we're doing something different this time. We'll see how it goes. But I thought that part could actually be content that's very different from what we do on Twitch. Or like there's a possibility that we could do something different. So it's more of creating that kind of stuff. And it's always fun just talking about things that normally we don't talk about on stream, or, it's not always like when it's live and I'm waiting for a response, there's a certain way that we express things, just like not character, but just like how we are and stuff. But this is a lot more raw. This is a lot more low key, so we can I guess answer. It's always been a fun type of content for me. But yeah. So what do you think, Blue? You think bringing it back was a good thing, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, we will see. It's kind of hard to be. I don't know how it's going to be. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see how it goes. Change it up as needed, and, so.
What's
we'll see.
What's the reason for you not being able to bring it back?
I've been
going into too
busy.
much deal?
I mean, I have nonsense. So I've been quite busy.
Yeah, and I guess I was only talking about the reasons why we're bringing it back. The reason why we couldn't do it this much this year was I kind of had a going back into music a little bit, not as a player, but somebody, more
In the back.
in the back, a lot more,
So we both have,
more
had
tight.
a lot more
Yeah.
projects. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but we kept streaming all year. Some people this is a lot. And now that we multi-stream, there's people that are only on YouTube and stuff, but like the streaming stuff, we've kind of kept it pretty consistent, I would like to say. We took days off here and there, but it's like that level, not like months or weeks off.
Or I mean, there will be times where like I can't make it or you can't make it, so we have some solo. But that's that's something we've done before too. So it's not like it's like a special like 2025 event or anything.
It's also such a good strength of having a duo that we don't have to cancel the stream or something, so we can keep that momentum somewhat going. Even if it is like a low-key stream. My streams are mainly just chatting, so, and I do those every week and stuff, and we kind of kept that pretty consistent, so I would say pretty good. So this time it was just kind of that, like, hey, what's up, we're back here. I'm on YouTube, without, not just shorts, but coming back as long form as this podcast. Hopefully we can do it monthly. It might be bi-monthly. We'll do our best. But starting this time, all the questions that we asked are anonymous. Now, usually we have a sub-only channel on Discord where people ask questions, and because their usernames it tends to come from people that we know, or people are familiar in the community. It's anonymous, not anonymous, and so kind of thing. We are going to go forward and do this anonymously, and we thought maybe this would open up for more of a confession type thing for some people, or like kind of those like midnight radio types of comments, and we actually did get some of that. So a lot of them are still questions, and that's totally fine too, but I thought it could open up a different angle for this segment, and hopefully going forward this will be the main thing, is kind of how I want to change the SOSO, where we do like a little bit of a because I realized we'll do like, hey, I did a lot of this, blah blah blah, thought about this month, and then the questions would actually ask the same thing, because we don't screen the questions before. So Instead, make it more of like put more weight on this part. If people ask questions or have their own stories, maybe do like thematic questions, you know, like us asking like, what was the worst mistake you've ever made? And then people have their own stories, and then we'll, you know, talk about that. Making it really like radio style, I guess, is kind of the thing.
We'll
that
see
we'll
how it
test out.
goes, and yeah, we could adjust, like I said.
Pretty much. And if it's sorry, it's been a while, but we back. So, and Blue's
I'm
gonna
gonna
sneeze.
sneeze. No, I'm not. Okay.
That's the worst.
I
It's
know.
actually the
yeah,
worst.
that's the worst.
Okay, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna go to the forum here. I'm gonna start off right away
Yeah.
on the questions that we got. Thank you guys so much for the questions. I love them. Honestly, was expecting to get none. So thank you. Okay, first question is, what does Zeta mean anyway? What does Zeta mean anyway?
Yeah, what does Zeta mean anyway?
Well, for my friends and I, there is no goodbye. Okay, that's all I can say.
There you go.
Okay, next question.
Nostalgia.
All right. All right. Okay, next question. Are you going to make more music streams with Blue too, Onegai? So
Me?
So I did, to put a little context, I did like my first ever music stream where I just had a guitar. I got a guitar out, an acoustic guitar out, and I just like, hey, I'll just stream. So I played a little bit of music, did like 30 minutes of just playing guitar, playing some songs and whatnot. So this is what that's referencing. Yeah, with Blue, I mean, you got that shamisen, right?
I mean, yeah, but I don't. That's not something I could play in this room. So
we
I
can
don't
do a
know.
jam sesh if you want.
no. I don't know.
You don't- What other instruments can you do?
Piano, but I don't have a piano. Flute, but I don't have a flute.
Fine, then you're gonna have to sing.
Okay. I can play nothing.
You can play nothing. You can play on.
I'll just be here for the vibes.
Yeah, cheerleader. From in on my end, I don't think I'm gonna be doing those frequently. That was really just like, hey, I'll just give it a shot type thing. And I wasn't really doing anything at the time, and I just had some time to kill. I think for me, it would have to either be like, there needs to be like a theme there if I'm gonna do a music stream. Maybe like write a song with the stream, or if I really want to like maybe perform some specific song or something like that. But yeah, I think keeping it rare is I won't like do like weekly music streams, but yeah, maybe. I was never gonna do a music stream. I talk about music obviously on stream, but I never talk about actually playing that much or play the guitar on stage on stream. If I do, it's like I do it as a gag to annoy Blue or something like that. So to kind of like, because I was seriously playing, like it was like playing songs that I wrote, songs that I didn't write, trying to play other songs, figuring songs out. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to make this really music centric. Perform it during like the actual streams, so it might be one of those drunk imp nights. Kana? Thank you for the question. So again, all these are anonymous, so we don't know who sent any of these. Like Blue, if you can just look on the screen right here, yeah, right. It's just the questions, so this is great in that sense. Next question, did you guys ever have a weird interaction with a fan in public?
Not weird, but more like I felt bad because we usually don't really get recognized in public. So the times that we do, I feel like I'm really awkward. So I feel like I'm the awkward interaction, if that makes sense. So, sorry.
Did you have one?
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, I had someone come up to me at TGF, and they're like, "You're Blue, right?" Yeah. That's how it went, and I felt really bad because I was really awkward because it's like, yeah, I am. Hello.
And then wasn't there like a follow-up?
No, and then they were like super wholesome. They're like, yeah, like I don't talk much in your stream, but like I watch you guys all the time. So I was like, oh my god, thank you. But for that split second, I'm like, yes, that is me.
That's
Are you
all
sure you have the right person?
That's all you need. There's
Yeah.
nothing more you need, Blue. They're confirming, and then you say yes. And
I
they
know,
say,
I know. So that's what I mean. I think I'm the weird interaction because I'm just so awkward.
Mm.
I'm not used to people approaching me because they recognize me somewhere, So
Yeah. So yeah, I think the answer for that question is no. In that sense, no one's ever been weird. It's just like Blue said. It's
I'm the weirdo.
It's rare that anyone would recognize us for Blluist, just because maybe they might recognize me kind of, or Blue kind of, because we were on somebody else's video or something like that. But the specific interaction that Blue's talking about, they knew Blluist. They watched Blluist. So that's really special. That's really awesome. And when people visit Japan, to the best of, if we have time physically, like with work and stuff like that, we try to like meet up with people. So there's no moment of that, I guess. The people that know us that are in Japan are hanging out with us, drinking with us or something. So never anything weird. I don't think many people really run into anything like that. Even the bigger creators, I think it's a really rare situation, and the weirdos are online. The people saying weird shit, doing weird shit to you is like mostly online and rarely physical. Even if they are super awkward, I think I've never heard anybody
weird.
I've never heard anyone be like, man, that guy was weird. Because the appreciation beats it. And they go, like, that was kind of cute. Or like, that was, or the content creator, the one that's being recognized, will kind of go out of their way to make that conversation smoother, whatnot. So, yeah. I don't think that's like, people are way more weird on online. And we've had that we've had a lot of. I don't think they're fans, but but we've had.
Yeah, that's the internet. It's just it's normal, I guess. So
I don't know. Sending us like, to this day, there are people that are sending us really questionable emails, and just kind of forwarding it to like a bunch of people and stuff like that. So it's like there's really weird activity like that, but nothing really like in our faces, I guess. The kanji. This one comes wrong because he wrote it in the message here. It says, Vod, thanks for not scamming me this year and let me scam Jer instead. Had a great time. I'm glad you had a good time. We never scammed you, to make that very clear.
Apparently he actually scammed Jeremy a few times, so I don't know. There's a lot of scamming going on between friends, apparently. I don't know how that works. I don't know what that even means to this day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Yep, and we had a good time with you guys, so thanks for hanging out. Next question. If you would blow up in popularity, would you still do dog bed / nonsense and other endeavors?
That's hard.
That's a hard
because
question.
it depends. Because it's like, what does popularity even mean?
I think it's right. So big numbers doesn't mean big money. So let's say, just for the sake of this question, we get to a point or a size where financially we can live off this. Whatever that means.
I mean, that also kind of depends as well, because like streaming is under like gray, for example. So if that's the case, then I would want to make some kind of income by myself, if that makes sense.
She means like the cash flow right now, because it has to be under
one person. Yeah. So, but of course, like you can argue joint accounts and blah blah blah. I mean, that doesn't really matter. But I mean, like for me, I think I would want something separate that I can work on myself, because that's just who I am. I just like having things on the side. So even if it's not nonsense, I'll probably do some other project, because I don't think I can just stick to one. So
my answer is if we are at that point of making something financially sustainable, that means we are doing that constantly. As in, I don't think popularity or anything like that comes from like a snap of a finger. Even if it's like through external causes and it's something that will help you to keep that going, because streaming is something very, very, for example, if a big chance comes with us being able to gain more followers and we're gonna spend a lot of time making content or working on putting ourselves out. Right there, we're working way more than we are right now in that. So I think time-wise, if there is a time like that, it's not like something just happens, but there might be like some kind of catalyst.
Like some shift.
There's a shift, a catalyst that puts us into working more into that. So resulting in not being able to spend time on other things. It doesn't like that popularity doesn't come before the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it doesn't come, boop. Like it doesn't go like, okay, here's 5,000 gift subs or something like that. Like, so.
I mean, also like dog bed and nonsense. We're not doing it solely from like. Well, in my case, like I'm not doing it solely for money. I do enjoy what I do, so I think if I can continue it, I would.
But if I could do streaming full time, I don't know if I would, considering what it takes to be that. It would be very different. It takes a lot to do streaming free time. All different kinds of content, and if that chance does come where it says, hey, just do A, B, C and then see what happens, I'll probably take it. I'll probably take that chance, but that means that I'm putting more work in. Like the top creators work more than anybody else, as in any field, right? So I'll probably, if that chance does come, I'll take that, but that would mean that I would be working. Like the reason why I won't be able to do anything else is because I would like be working physically so much more. My physical time would be doing this, not because like, oh, I got more money here, let's go, I'm done here. Like physically my time would be taken away. That's what it would mean to pop off in popularity, if that makes sense, and trying to keep that. So I'll try, if that chance ever happens where, let's say, someone that we really look up to, a really big content creator goes, hey, I want to work with you guys. That's going to require months, weeks and months of creating content, just really concentrated stuff that's going to take away time from everything. And I think it's harder for Blue, because for me, a lot of my projects are creative endeavors where they don't make money to begin with. But for Blue, there's a job that you have. And it's going to be trying to balance that out. But it is such a hypothetical that it's such a hard hypothetical to imagine after doing this for 8 years that shit like that just doesn't happen, especially with the way that we stream or we exist on the internet. So yeah, I think it's a little hard to imagine that.
Yeah.
Would you though? Would you kind of take that chance? I wonder. Would you consider it? Let's say someone really. This is just one example. There could be many ways. For example, a clip, pops off, and then we get not just that it pops off, but we are given a opportunity to work on something or with somebody to take us to the next level, something like that.
That's way too much of a chance for me to bank on. So no.
You wouldn't take the chance?
No, I would take the chance, but I wouldn't quit anything else.
Right,
I would try to see if it's even viable first.
And like even try to like
yeah. And then if it eventually gets to the point where we're making more, then maybe I'll lessen my other stuff. But until I can get a guarantee, like, unless it's guaranteed, then I'm not quitting anything else.
Yeah. For me, it's two criteria. If I can see
I'm not really
it,
like a chance take. I'm not like a,
if I can see it being something that takes away from my creativity or my vision, and I can just see it getting dumbed down without it helping me out in any way, I guess. Like, because there's sometimes I won't agree with something, but then I'll be like, I wonder if we can add a twist to this, or if adding my twist, like I want to challenge myself to see if I can try that and put my twist on something that I normally wouldn't do. So I want that kind of stuff is always intriguing, and I love that kind of stuff. But I'm very, very, I'm with Blue in that sense, where I'm very cautious of who we work with. I'm very cautious of keeping what's, even if over time things change, what really is the core of what we do of Blluist, keeping that real. And if that goes away, then I don't think there's a point to any of this, or we will just turn into something that will actually vanish within weeks, I think, and we'll just get lost. So I think, yeah, just kind of gauging it as we go. I don't know. Great question, by the way. Thank you. Do you have a year or date in mind that you're like, if I don't have X amount of viewers by then, oh, we're gonna stop?
I mean, we did. We used to.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have those goals. Now we don't.
Yeah, not
Because
at
it's not really about that anymore.
Mm.
So, but before, when we were doing full time, yeah, we were at a point where it's like, oh, if we dip to this amount, then maybe we should consider stopping. But yeah,
it didn't. It at that point, right after that, things kind of like looked up. That was before we got partnered, I believe, and
Yeah.
we got partnered after that. And
I mean, even after partner, we did. There were a lot of there were a lot of years where like, okay, we might really want to consider quitting if it doesn't get more than this, and actually didn't get more than that. We dipped a lot, but here we are. So
yeah, I think there's this question is like just the way that is a normal way of looking at things, where it's like your worth is tied to numbers, and specifically viewership. And yeah, like I think that makes sense, but there was a moment where I thought, hey, if that was true, I would have quit ages ago. There was a moment, because like what Blue said, we do talk about that kind of stuff, but I'm like, why am I here? Like, why do I still do this? Why do I do imp streams? Why do I care about any of it if it was just that? And then I started kind of like then I started realizing that it's probably not more, it's not just that, and that might be like, and it's not to say that big numbers are like that's a status symbol in the industry and everything, but people don't really look into what these numbers are as much, especially now with the discussion of like lurkers, and and I've mentioned this on stream, like people are clearly not even understanding what concurrent viewers mean anymore, so like what that number even is anymore. So it's either that or I don't, but either way, as of now, no. Like, I think the way that we have our lives kind of not centered around, I don't know, I think about streaming almost, the amount that I still think about streaming is pretty heavy still. I still think about it a lot, but I'm not in a rush, and I'm not in a rush to do anything crazy, or in a rush to do anything wild. Like last time, when Kotatsu sent me the Tokyo Camp Bingo website, we did an impromptu Tokyo Camp Bingo. That shit should have been planned normally, and takes, but I was able to like get people there and play a fun game, and it's kind of those moments, and I'm not really afraid to do it. Normally I'd be like, wait, we should give it some time, like make sure that we could really it really helps with the monetization of the stream too, like make sure that we can get people ready make this an actual event, maybe make a little bit of make a flyer, and those are important too, and we want to keep doing that. But I'm interested. I just do whatever's interesting to me, and it seems that people are hanging out, and I guess it is until becomes zero, until that number. Oh, and I'm not thinking of it as something that just keeps going down. Of course, we want it to keep going up. That's how we do a lot with like trying to explore the YouTube side of things right now a lot, and social have other shorts like Roy with the shorts and whatnot. If we didn't care about that, all of those would be gone. But yeah, it's definitely it affects us a lot less now. We don't try, but it still does get to you once in a while. You kind of think, oh, what's the point of this? Or am I talking to a relatively empty room? Or like, there's just moments of that, but they pass. Those moments pass. For me, at least. Or they've passed now. Oh no, how about you, Blue?
Sorry, I was sneezing. I mean, I already kind of explained most of my thought processes. It's not really like, yes, we did have those kind of goals, or we had that kind of cutoff, but we're still here. So
why are you here? What keeps you here? Because you have a job.
I mean, I like the people, so I'm here for the people mostly. I think I've made, I don't know, it's like a very unique community, I guess. And it kind of makes me sad thinking about never being able to talk to them again or interact with them again. So I think I'm mostly here for the people, or the relationship I have with the people, I guess. So.
All right. Next question is, hi, long time lurker. Sorry, Gray. First time asker. Have you guys ever talked about what you do when Anu and Mimi eventually shed their mortal coils? Oh, that's a conversation we definitely do not have.
We'll probably get another dog.
But I think we're both on the same.
I don't, because like I think, unfortunately, their lives are not too long. But I also know that the best thing to mend an aching heart is basically another dog. That might sound bad, but caring for something else, nurturing something else, I think is a very, like, it takes your focus away and it brings, a new life into your world. Does tend to help you mend, I guess. So
yeah,
I would probably look into another dog.
I agree. I think having another dog would definitely benefit. Or I think it's pretty natural for us at this point.
I think that's what most people do as well. So.
Yeah. We probably don't. Yeah, it's something that I'm always just like, when it happens, we'll see type thing. But it is, sometimes I get hit with that thought and I try to like get away from it as soon as possible, because it's it's just not super happy to think about. But
I think at this point we'll probably stick to sighthounds. So maybe contact Mimi's place again, see if they have any. If not, maybe try to find a different shelter. I want a borzoi.
That's right. You've been sending me a lot of borzoi.
I really
videos.
want a borzoi, so that's my next. But we would have to get like a bigger place, so that also depends on that too.
Right. We could not have a borzoi in this apartment. So, yeah, that's what. Thinking about it, definitely. I think we both already know what's gonna happen.
I try not to think about it.
Yeah, but try not to think about it. The question's fine because it's one of those things you can't ask that on stream. That's a weird ass question to ask on stream, but because it's anonymous and it's this format and it's not offensive or anything at all, it's genuine. So yeah.
Well, Italian Greyhounds, they live to like 14, 15, 16. So Anu still has he's only at halfway. So he's still going to be here for a while.
Hell yeah.
So I'm not thinking about it.
with the way that I'm keeping up with my health, I should be worried about myself.
Yeah, I think Gray's a
more
little
than-
bit more dangerous than he is.
Next question. Gray and Joey talking about this on the other podcast. Downtime got a bit, but can you tell how you choose what to stream and what not, going with what viewers want versus what you want or think is better, etc.?
That one I can start off. So basically, we go through games that have been suggested to us or that we find interesting, and then we consider one big thing is like, okay, can we banter off of this? That's a big thing because unlike other people, we're playing with two people. So if it's not a game that we can both talk through or like we can both play, if that makes sense, it's hard to stream. Whether that be physically, we're both playing by split controlling, or verbally both playing by both thinking about what to do. So for example, like what was it? I'm Not Human, was it? That one that we recently played. That one was great because it's about choices, and we would both talk about it and then we would make that choice. So while only one of us was really controlling anything, we both felt like we were playing it because there's a lot of communication that we can have between us. Same thing with like FromSoft games, we can actually split the controls, so that's very obvious. But I think it's a lot more difficult if it's a game that is not there's like no choices involved and there's no split control involved. Then it just makes it a lot harder because it's like, okay, well, one person's just watching.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
That's why we don't play side scrollers.
Yeah.
We don't. So I think it doesn't have really good synergy with streaming. No, with our
setup.
Yeah.
It's really specific. So.
And or there might be a way, but we just haven't. We're not experienced enough, or we don't have the skills in our minds to convince ourselves that this will be interesting and entertaining. Even games that have barely action, like visual novels, they work fine because the story usually is really fleshed out. There's a lot to talk about between the lines. You can ship people, you can shrimp over people. There's so much things that could actually happen outside of the actual game story, in that kind of tempo of a game. So that's definitely one. So yeah, I agree. Also, a big thing that we try to be very careful about are big RPGs where we're looking at like 100 hours or 60 hours, 80 hours. Just because to keep that kind of energy up, there's usually the beginning, let's go, and then there's maybe like first 10 to 15 hours people might be kind of like into it, and we're still kind of, we have that energy. Then there's that, there's that grind part of the RPG, and then it goes to the end, where at the end it gets hype at the end. But we always want to be careful of how long a game is, if that makes sense.
That's why, like, for example, like Silent Hill F, we played 2 runs. I think there's 2 more runs, but we chose not to do 2 more runs just because of time. And it's not because we didn't enjoy the game. We loved the game. It's just of time, basically. Because it would have made it so long that we would have had more, maybe 2 or 3 more weeks of Silent Hill F streams, and that also prevents some people from joining, or it might get stale for people who have been watching since the beginning as well.
And
so
with Silent Hill specifically, if we were confident enough in that we could make all those playthroughs fresh, the fact that we start from the beginning, and there are moments that are, and I noticed this in the second playthrough, is that you play the full game and there's some cutscenes that are different, or a lot of them are different, but they're very nuanced. They're not like completely different, and so there's only so much that we can
keep people engaged. I guess.
That we can. New comments or stuff like that, and I realized, okay, third playthrough is probably not realistic, Game wise,
The last thing we want to
is-
do
yeah.
is be like, okay, come on, let's go. Like, we don't want that kind of
No.
energy too. Like, we're not trying to get it over with.
yeah. So I
Does
didn't
that
like.
make sense?
I
So-
didn't need to speak of that now. I
Yeah.
hated the fact that we were skipping cutscenes that we've already seen,
Yeah.
and that I didn't like that. But it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as soon as we found out that we couldn't,
We couldn't get the
second
sword. It was
ending,
like, okay.
it made.
So,
From there, I was like trying really hard to keep the energy going, but it was like we're doing this for nothing right
Yeah.
now because we're gonna kind of end up. So then a lot of the comments that I was making would be like, oh, maybe if we had the sacred sword, this would have like trying to like create a headcanon
Mhm.
that way, and then
but that can be entertaining for, not very long, I think. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's really just if we were entertaining enough to, it's just something that we don't have the skills for.
Yeah.
So instead of, and I don't even know where we would begin with stuff like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, we think about that a lot. So a lot of the stuff that we play off stream are the ones that we know, like, okay,
I would not be very
decide,
good on thing.
yeah, we decide I'm not going to play this. This is a personal experience. This is more of an experience that's better done by yourself versus one that's done. I can put on a good show, I guess. Like I can make it a fun experience. Like one of the things that we did, which was really worked out really well for us, was that we didn't play Expedition 33 on release, and so by the time people, and this is something important to us, is when you play a game that's a little bit off release. Of course, everyone still loved the game and people were talking about it, but it's really cool to have people that already know what's going on in the game so they can watch. They can watch. Yeah, it kind of invites backseat gaming, and sometimes spoilers and whatnot too. Which in our case it doesn't happen with our size as much, but backseat gaming it does. But we've had our opinions of backseat gaming where I'm like, we just don't listen to it. We just, no matter what, the tutorial in the game will tell us to play one way and then we'll end up playing a different way. So at that point, people can suggest all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, I think if you watch Blluist, we're just gonna play the way that we want to. So it's we're totally fine with that. And since we're publicly streaming the game, people are allowed to say whatever they want, I think. So unless it's like a spoiler or something, even spoilers, I'm just like, it's a little bit. If you really don't want spoilers, then maybe streaming it is not the best idea. I know that's like a very unpopular opinion, but I kind of think so. So I'm not encouraging it, but it just happens, and we just have to live with that. That's kind of part of that's what we signed up for almost. So there's ways to avoid that. We don't want spoilers, but yeah, I think point being, I would rather have people be like, oh my god, this is gonna be sick, wow, and be there and like watch the stream than wait, I'm playing this weekend, I can't play it. So that's why we kind of like shift it from release. And we do it for most games. It's hard to do for FromSoft games because we're too excited.
FromSoft I think is not gonna be possible, but
a little too excited. But yeah, thank you for the question. Yo, since the year's about to end, care to share any favorite memories of 2025 IRL or in stream? Maybe give us your top 3 each. So let's save that one for the next month, for the, I guess, year round. But we'll be talking about that question in the next SOSO for the December one. So next question, have you guys ever thought about doing community game nights? I know that some of the community members host game nights every now and then, but would you ever think of you would do one for a stream to even use one of the non-duo streams for a community game night? I think it'd be a nice way for community members to connect further with each other, especially if their favorite streamers are a part of it. We sometimes will do like if we're playing like just like party games with people. We used to do community game nights weekly. We used to do that. But yeah, what do you think?
So my thing with community games, it's easier if it's a solo stream. For example, if it's Gray playing with community or me playing with community, it's a lot harder when it's both of us and the community, because then it's a lot of different voices talking, and we have to also be aware of each other and of everyone talking as well. So for me, it's honestly a little difficult. I've had a lot of difficulty with those kind of games or those kind of streams because I don't know when I'm supposed to talk. So that's my issue with it. Not saying I am against it or anything, but I have noticed that it's easier when it's solo, and that's why like when I do solo streams and I play a multiplayer game, I'm totally down for you guys joining. Or I do a lot of multiplayer games on solo streams so you guys can join. But of course, that doesn't mean everyone has the game, so it is very limited to who owns it. But yeah, I guess that's kind of that was my solution to those kind of game nights, is having multiplayer games and opening it up to people who can join. But I guess we haven't really hosted like a party game in a while.
One of the base requirements that would be is that we are in full control of everything. Because again, this is good. This is like public. Like this is a stream. So for us, so I think it's really important that people have fun. But I'm not saying we've ever had a situation where it's turned weird or anything like that. It never has. Every single time we do, because we never do it. When those moments come, they're fun. It's chaotic. It becomes, and when I was like really into werewolf, I'll do like werewolf, kind of regularly for a couple days, and immediately I was like, after one or two, I was like, okay, I can't do this like all the time. Yeah. And it was just because it just wasn't. It has to be something that I can control at all times, even if I'm part of the chaos. I have to be the one that's kind of like making sure everything is okay, making sure that I have to make sure it runs. The machine's running, I guess, in that sense. That's why our community nights are mostly like you guys send in something and then we review it, or we all watch it together. That was my idea of doing community nights, but in a way where we can have full control, and that's the idea behind Descendants. And the reason why we need to be able to control it is because when things get too chaotic with DC and stuff, not everyone's a streamer, and not everybody is used to like the chaos that you see, whether it be on the Werewolf or Tokyo Game Show, Tokyo Camp Bingo, or when we have other content creators. There's a level of understanding that we're doing this
for content.
We're doing it
entertainment.
And they're all on. They're switched on. Everyone's switched on. So there's a level of trust that I have with all these people. When even if things get insane, at the end of the day, I can sit here be going, okay, this person has experience in publicly, streaming and whatnot. He'll take responsibility for things. I can take responsibility for things. It's a give or take. So the things that I say, he's gonna come back to me with this, but it'll never cross the line in any way because there's trust. And not to say that there are people that cross the line or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But in general, I just never know. And the reason why I say this is because when we did Jackbox, people would cross the line all the time. When we would play Jackbox, people would think it's funny and just cross the line, and then
we would have to stop it.
The pickup crew is us.
Yeah.
It would have to, and it should be. It's our responsibility. They're just trying to be funny. To them, it's like a house party, and that's it. And the numbers reflect that, I guess. And that's just like, I think it just turned into this type of like, it's not funny, and also we have to kind of be we have to take control over that, and there's no joke there except for, like some really vulgar word, some swear word or some shit like that. Like that's it.
It would just be constant like
Or
penis
boobs,
jokes, and it just would never
tits.
end. And it's like it's getting old, but you can't really let the vibes go down, so you kind of have to start keep laughing even though it's not funny anymore. And it's like, oh, okay, we can't do this again.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I think it's that where it's like we don't know what people are gonna do. And because like with other content creators, that if they do something, it's up to them to make up for it. They have a channel where they have to follow their own rules, or they have a certain level of like a line that they will never cross. We know that the people that we collab with aren't just going to be making dick jokes the whole time. Like that's not the type of people we would collab with, right?
And I'm gonna make it really clear. That's not what we're saying that our community is. It's just that when in any game night for stuff like that, and of course there's games where it's impossible to do that because with a lot of these friend slop games that are coming out, it's not really about that. It's not like Jackbox, as the game type is different. I agree, and it's not that. I think our community's fine, and it's okay to be vulgar sometimes, and it's just the level of responsibility that happens. That's just when you do a community game night. That's what it is. The community has no responsibility. You guys shouldn't have responsibility. We don't want people to come in and think you guys are the streamers, or you guys are the ones that are gonna get. There needs to be some kind of you guys have to carry something, no.
It's up to us.
It's all up to us, and it should be that way. So
just damage control. If there is damage control, tends to be easier when it's something we can fully control.
And it's not something about damage control doesn't mean we're gonna get canceled.
It's
just like these moments that we have to pick up.
Yeah.
We should pick up because, for example, werewolf. Wait, it's getting a little awkward. These two people are fighting, or they're actually getting offended. Okay, hold up. And then I have to go in. It's up to me to go in, and then kind of be like,
remedy this.
This is just and this is just a hypothetical, okay?
Yeah.
Like this, because a streamer wouldn't. They might do that for content, but they'll know that. They'll know that.
They're not actually angry at each other.
Right. And
but if you're not a streamer, then you don't know, right? If it's just some other person on the internet, you don't know if they're actually getting mad or if they're doing it to be funny. You don't know. So then it causes this really awkward atmosphere where it's like, wait, did I say something bad? So and then it's up to us to kind of go in being like, hey,
And then I would get and this has happened before, after we do these community game nights, I would get DMs about what they didn't like about it, and it's just what, this isn't a kindergarten. I'm not your kindergarten teacher, right? We're all here, but it's also bad to assume that, to put that on you guys, and that's irresponsible for us to be like, okay, everything here is a joke, so take it as a joke, even if you've never talked to this username before, or this person, and you don't recognize the username. It's also irresponsible for us to just do that and be like, oh, it's all you. No, the responsibility is, if it's on our channel, if it's in our community, the responsibility is on Blluist, no matter what happens. So,
and another really, really big thing, I think, is probably the most major thing, is that we're not good enough to make inside jokes open enough for people who are for example, if a new person comes in and we're doing a community game, and if it's full of inside jokes, they're gonna leave. And I think this is something we're not good enough to involve new people into those kind of streams if there's too much inside jokes.
Yeah, we're not strict enough.
Yeah. So I think that's another thing is, and of course, because our community is really close.
Yeah.
And that's a really special thing.
It is.
But it does come with some setbacks, as in it does come with that where it's there's a lot of inside jokes. There's a lot of you guys have your own little home is always, there's something always going on where you guys collectively change names or call each other nicknames. There's things going on between certain people in the community, which is great. I love seeing it. But if it comes, like, of course, once it leaves Discord, it becomes a really specific thing. It's like, well, if you don't know, then you have no idea what's happening. And it seems like this, like, almost like, oh, okay, I shouldn't intrude.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I think it drives new people kind of like a little hesitant, I guess, to join in. And so that's a big thing, is like, with other content creators, I think even if we do have an inside joke, it's very split second, like not very, we don't drag it on for very long, because I think we all know that everyone, like, our community doesn't know their community, so we want to keep it, we have a mutual understanding that we want to keep it open enough that both of our communities can enjoy the stream without having to know certain inside jokes.
But that's really, really nuanced, and I think you need to be careful of how you word that, because we actively forfeited that. We used to be really strict on that when we were thinking about maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 or 5 years in, and we're thinking about the growth of the channel.
Yeah.
Because like Blue said, when anybody, any school, right? You go into a new school and everyone's full of inside jokes, it's hard to go in. So yeah, I get that. And so we were like, let's try and not encourage it as much and try to but now I feel different about it, because now I think those things are okay, and I think that those things I embrace those things, because that's not where growth comes from. Is my read. If something happens externally and 1,000 people come in, those inside jokes, you guys can still have those inside jokes and they'll be fine. I'd rather have the people that are there enjoy their time, and you guys just do your own thing, and you guys aren't causing any problems, but and you guys have your inside jokes, like, that's fine. And I think that itself isn't going to, that's not stopping 1,000 people at the door from coming in. And if it does, if other people, maybe a couple people come in, they go, oh, this is not my vibe, and they leave, we're fine with that. I'm fine with that now. I think I used to be a lot more focused on that, of the people that weren't there versus the people that were there, but now I'm okay with it, because I would rather have the people there enjoying it and being in the community. And then it's us, and to get new people, it's our job. What we're not doing good enough, or what we should be working on, is getting an external number of people from a different place, rather than just someone that just passes by the stream and we grab them in. Or and I think it still works. It's not like a place that's super uninviting. I think Blluist is still super inviting.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Just saying, in those moments, and if it is a community stream, the people that will join, it's going to be people that are very dedicated to the community too, which I thank and love. But it might be if one person goes in to a room and it's all inside jokes about something and they don't get it, it's going to be hard for them to, so we think about all of this stuff when it comes to community game night, and it's because we've experienced it all. We've experienced it. We've done through it. I've gotten really negative comments about it, really positive things about it. And my final conclusion with that was that it needs to be something where we take, when the stream actually happens and the live moment has to have, we have to be in control, and the most comfortable way of keeping in control. And that's why send-ins is great, because once that happens, it's up to us and everybody in the community to just converse or talk about it, but there's no actual action that's happening. So yeah,
it shouldn't be up to you guys having to watch your words or having to watch what you say, or try not to make jokes. That's not something you guys should have to do. So yeah, I think it's more about the fact that we're just not capable of making making those kind of streams fun for not just people who are very, very active, But I'm not even talking about like new people who aren't part of the stream, but it could just be people who mostly lurk, or people who don't really, maybe they just joined, or they don't talk as much, so they're not really part, like they know of the joke, but maybe they're not part of it. So, and then maybe they might not, join the game just because they're like, oh, maybe like, but that's the thing is I don't want the people who are part of it, who are part of this small group of that inside joke to have to be like, oh, we can't do this here.
Right.
Like that's not up to you guys. That's up to us. And so if we can, it just, I guess like it's more like we just don't want anyone to have to dampen their fun for other people, but at the same time we do have to of course be considerate of other people too. And that's our job as owners of the stream, of this of this space. I don't like it phrasing this way because it sounds weird, but I want it to be a safe enough space where people who are enjoying the jokes can enjoy it, who aren't part of the jokes to also enjoy it. Like, we want everyone to have a good time.
So yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's I know this was like a very simple question, and we kind of like went in, and it's a really hard thing because as people that stream, people that are, like Blue said, is kind of the hosts of all of this, we do want to make sure it's a place that people can, have their inside jokes. We are part of these inside jokes, obviously, and it's up to us to make them too. Plus, try to make it more welcoming for people that might come in and it's their first time, or they.
I just want the community to be like a good, safe place for all types of people to enjoy. So people who are super active can also enjoy it. People who aren't as active can also enjoy it. People who do like to make jokes can enjoy it. People who are serious can enjoy it. Like we just want to include all types of people. So we just want to make sure that it's a safe enough place that you don't have to be super involved to enjoy Blluist.
It's and right now it is. I think right now it is, and we're working on to do that. This only is a problem or a thought because of the number because we can have eyes on, and we can vibe a lot with the whole community. If there was a influx of people and there was a huge number of people coming in, and there was beyond the numbers of like what we can manage, none of this, there is no way we would be able to even talk about any of this, and it wouldn't even matter. But since we've always been in a place where we can see the people, we can kind of like, it's a size that we can manage. We want to do everything as much as we can to, in our power, to have control of Blluist. We try to implement things or do things the way that we think works, and it's because of that the community is close, is what I believe. And it's because we do that, and we did something right, and we're doing something right. But again, if there's like boom, 1,000 people, bam, come in, there would be no way for us to manage that. And there's just, so it's only because of the size that we are right now, and right now it's perfect. Like, I think people are just having a good time, and I wouldn't do anything to break it. So just want to make that clear. I don't want it to be like there's something wrong with the community and we don't want inside jokes. That's not what we want. So just want to make that very, very clear. Kana? All right, here's the last one. This is the last one, but this is more than a question. It's a pretty big message, and this is kind of like one of the reasons why I wanted to do it anonymous, was that there were questions about, Anu and Mimi that's hard to ask on stream, but there's also stuff like this that I'm about to read, and this is kind of what we want. We want to hear the things that you probably, maybe, I haven't read this yet, and they might not even have to do anything about us, but it's more like that midnight radio call, it's like things that you're having troubles with, and this is the only place. And of course, we won't be able to give you the perfect answer or anything like that, but maybe opening up to us it's fun for us. So this is kind of one of the reasons, a message like the one that I'm about to read is kind of the biggest reasons why we did this anonymously. So thank you so much for whoever sent this in. So my sentences tend to become very vague if I let my thoughts run loose, so I'll try my best to stay concise. Spoiler, negative emotions incoming. There are times where I feel like that life is an MMO grind and that I'm pursuing something that won't make me happy. But give me just a sliver of a chance, the result of the pursuit will lead me to a speckle of happiness, or just to another lead that might bring me on the road to happiness. I don't perceive happiness as a state that persists as long as I've reached it, and as long as I never lose it, like some threshold on a leaderboard. For me, it would be something more like a life where nothing is fucked up, and nothing else could fuck it up. Therefore, I should invest in my time in fixing those points of fuck-ups. But somehow I spend most of my life pursuing things that fix potential fuck-ups, but those don't do any progress to fix any real fuck-ups at hand. It stresses me out that both of my parents can't speak the language where they live and lived for more than 30 years. And I can only barely speak my mother tongue, since I had to learn the language of the country where I was born and live, after all. That's a fuck up that plagues my life since childhood and still follows me today. Translating, filling out forms from banks and public authorities, and even playing interpreter as a 16-year-old between my mother and some woman in the tax office, all while my mother tongue was and is still shit. I knew how to fill out a tax form and barely translate it to my mother before I knew what taxes were. And instead of fixing the problem that my mother doesn't understand the language, or maybe my mother could teach me more in my mother tongue, she urged me to learn for school education instead. Oh, praise it the Almighty God, how wonderfully glad, the incredibly lucky ducky I am that I got a good education up to my university master's degree because my mother urged me to do so, since being poor is a fuck up in her eyes, and while all that might sound very rational, I got nothing out of it for me personally in the end. When I held my degree in my hand, I felt I wasted my youth. I have a well-paid job today, yes. I'm able to build savings, yes. But money was never a fucked up problem or worry for me. I learned through my own mother how efficient you can be in life and what little you have. I never yearned for luxury but for emotional depth. That's what I wanted. I never aimed for materialism but for personal effort. But all I got was a cold family situation due to the actual language barrier between my parents and me. So I sit here today having fixed many potential fuck-ups considered in other people's lives, but not mine. I wish I knew all that what I've written down when I was younger to steer myself to a less fucked up life. But now, it's all too late, and even if I could speak my mother tongue fluently now, it wouldn't change a thing. Because my parents are from a generation where they resist the change after getting old. My father has to renew his residence permit recently. The authorities mentioned a few documents for the application, but my father had none of them in his whole apartment, although those were documents that every human being in the country get. The moment they do anything with the public authorities and to retrieve a new copy, several IDs are needed, which my father didn't have as well. And then I caught myself fantasizing about just being fed up with the situation and do nothing so the authorities would kick my father out of the country and back to his homeland. Am I frustrated? Am I disappointed or bitter about my fucked up situation? It doesn't matter because it won't change my situation. It's a very specific situation, but have you two ever learned something or invested a lot of time in something, reached something of significance, and then realized afterwards that you should have spent the time to do something else which had more urgency and importance for you personally in life? On a lighter note, I found the Blluist stream at a time where I felt depressed due to possibly subconsciously noticing that I'm fixing the wrong fuck up, and the stream stays for me as a place to enjoy life with whatever fuck up you carry. Thanks, you two. Wow.
So I think.
Wow. Thank you. By the way, thank you so much. First off, thank you so much, man. That was a read.
So while I think the situation isn't completely similar, I think Gray and I can kind of relate in a sense that I think you and both of us are all what you would call third culture kids, where you have a lot of, you're born, like it's either you have, like language barrier or cultural barrier with where your like home country or within family or with your friends or with like what it's like third culture kids have, like it just means that you don't fit in, right, in where you live or the place you grew up in. So I think, because like, I think my brother is in a very similar situation in terms of like, so my brother was very young when we moved to the US, so he barely knows Japanese. Like he can hear it, or he can understand if he's hearing it. Like he can watch anime without subtitles and all that stuff, but he can't read it, and he can barely speak it. He can speak it very casually, but not enough. Like his vocab is missing so much that he speaks like he's a elementary kid basically. And I think that's one of the things I remember him telling me was that he really wished that our parents would have forced him to keep practicing Japanese, because that's one of like his biggest regrets in life, is that he just doesn't know his like first language. Like he can't even say that Japanese is it is his first language, but he's like, he doesn't consider, like, I think, yeah, it's hard for him to be like, oh yes, I'm Japanese, when he can barely keep up with the language or the culture anymore. So I think I do understand that frustration, because I do have someone close to me that's, has that same frustration. And of course, like you said, like you can learn it later in life, but that still doesn't really change like the years that you missed, right? Like things that you hoped that your parents would do for you. Like, even though of course as a kid, the last thing you want to do is do language school, but I think my brother really wished that my parents kind of like really forced that in him to the point where he can call himself bilingual. But oh man, that's hard.
And then the question after all of that, just to reiterate, was, have you two ever learned something or invested a lot of time into something, reached something of significance, and then realized afterwards that you should have spent your time on something else? And
I mean, that's like my whole college degree.
Yeah. What do you mean,
like,
your college degree is in fashion?
So here's the thing with me is that we moved to, like, I was born here, but we moved to America, right? I think I felt like a foreigner the whole time I was there. So one of my biggest goals since I was like middle schooler was to eventually move back to Japan. That's something that's a goal I had since as long as I can remember. I never fit in over there. I didn't like it over there. I wanted to come back here. And that's one of the things I am glad I was able to stick to. Cause like, yeah, I went to like a very cheap college in exchange to move back here. But of course I think there's times where I regret, like I did invest a lot of time into fashion. And I did go to college for fashion and whatnot. But at the end of the day, of course, like this is, I guess, out of my hands. But like with AI and a lot of computer stuff now, that you don't really need a fashion degree to do a lot of my job, unfortunately. It's kind of come to that. So there is a part of me that wished I went into like graphic art or like some kind of art that would have lasted me a lot longer than the field I chose. And that's what I went to. I went to 4 years college and a 3-year fashion course. Like I spent 7 years studying fashion, and then now it's like I should have studied something else, because it's such a, like I can see the end coming. Like that sounds really depressing, but like there's so many apps and there's so many AI assisted stuff now that like, yeah, you don't really need a fashion degree to do what I do. So yeah, I did invest a lot of time into it, and I really wish I did something else. To be honest, like I really wish I had an art degree or a graphic design degree, or I went into like 3D rendering, like, and that's something I still think about to this day. So
mine's not like a physical, like actual degree type thing. I went to college, I learned sociology and anthropology. Woo, future. And so I already knew what I was getting myself into. But for me, this might be a different take, or might not be answering the question, but I spent a lot of years trying to please the wrong people. a lot of my self-worth comes from, and I think it really solidified when I started from my family and how I was, my upbringing and stuff like that in my family situation. But more than that, or no, not more than that, but it started with that. And then I started to become, I realized that I wanted attention from a young age, that I wanted people to praise me. I want to do something, not just to get praise, but do something that gets praise. And then I found music, and I became a musician, to a point where, it started with friends being like, yo, Ken, these songs are good, to people in Hokkaido coming up to me after the show being like, hey, can you sign this CD underneath this? And I'm like, I can't sign it, it's snowing everywhere. And then we would go under, and we would raise the hood of the back hood of the van, and then I would bring the fans there, and then I would sign and then take a picture, and like it went from that. So, and then after that, what did I do? I started streaming, right? So like, that's fine, that because that's just how it is, although it does like kind of fuck you up mentally, and I'm aware of that. But that mentality of like wanting to be praised, wanting to do something good so people will be like, hey dude, good job, and that being my top motivator, persisted in a really toxic workplace. And I realized, I talk about my workplace a lot, and and I was just, I knew it was really bad, but I was blaming myself for a lot of it. Now they're like all funny stories, but even my psychiatrist was like, why do you care about being accepted by this guy? Like, this guy has nothing on you. And I just, that was one of those moments where it just hit me that a lot of my motivation comes from, I want people to be like, good job. You did a good job, man. I like that. I really like what you just made, and I really appreciate it. And so I think when people tell me that, or like if people have ever reached out to me in the DMs or anything like that, I respond pretty heavily to it in like a, no matter how busy I am, I try to respond in a sincere way, because I sincerely appreciate that and it motivates me. And I think that's why Blluist keeps going, because there's people that will tell us, I truly believe that the art that we do and the things that we do, the events are good on its own, but a lot of it is praise and what other people think, and it's really hard to admit that. It's been really hard to admit that over the years, but I think now, and since you're being very sincere, I can be sincere too, is that I spent so much of my time, and I'm not saying that the people that watch our content or the people that support this channel don't matter, but it shouldn't, is what I'm saying. If you're doing art as an artist, your listeners shouldn't matter, or at least for the art that I'm doing, or at least for what I'm doing in my mental state, it shouldn't matter. You should appreciate people that love it and they resonate with it, but it should be an afterthought, or like it should be something that happens afterwards. It shouldn't be the motivator. And also, I feel like people that support your content and your art are people that their opinions should matter. That's one of the people that you should be spending time on the other hand. So it's like, as an artist, you shouldn't care about the voice. I don't think you should care about the voice. It's a personal opinion. All different kinds of artists out there with different mindsets. For me, if you're doing art, if you're putting something out there, whether it be like a YouTube video or actual, like if you're painting something, drawing something, making clothes, making music, it should be something that you want to do. Or starting a stream channel or a stream YouTube channel or anything, content creation. It should be what you want to tell the world. And if they don't agree with it, that's fine. It should be what you want to do, not what they want to. They might want to hear. They might want to see. Yeah, but that being said, I appreciate everyone's like, when people. I still think about that a lot, and I've realized that's okay. That's healthy. I still think like that's rather on the healthy side. But I just spent years trying to please my boss, trying to get acceptance from like family in places that I don't really need anymore, and stuff like that. So, and family, as very obviously can tell from this message too, the writer of this message, it's hard. You have these frustrated feelings, but you can't just like cut their ties. Like, you're showing up to all these situations where you're like, yeah, you might think maybe this might be like a, what happens if it just worst case scenario and they leave the country and I never get to see them again? Oh, but you're still there. You're still there, like helping them out, and you probably will keep doing that at the end of the day, you know? And that's just what family is and stuff like that. And that's kind of the same with me too. So I did talk about two different things right there, because I think me spending time and a lot of my efforts and wanting to be accepted, and it kind of goes in with what Blue originally said about the third culture kids, because I never felt accepted anywhere. I'll go to a group of Japanese friends and they'll say, damn, you're so American. I'll go to my American friends, damn, you're so Japanese. Like, I never felt like I was there was never a home for me internally. And our school teachers tell you that before you graduate. They go, hey, you're a third culture kid. You're not going to fit in and you're going to get depressed. So, like, of course, not that casually, but they'll prepare you. And it literally happened to every single one of us. And it still might be happening. But when I think that had to do with it too, is that I needed acceptance from people. Like, right? What I'm doing is great, right? The thing that's coming from my heart, this song that I wrote in my bedroom, this song is good, right? Like this, and then it was just that, and I couldn't be strong enough to be like, no, fuck you, this is me. Like, I was, of course, as a 17, 18-year-old writing those songs, I was like, yeah, I'm top of the world, blah, blah, blah. But like, really down inside, like the inner child type conversation, like I can say now that I'm 34, I was just looking for acceptance, and I was super lucky that I got a little bit of that, but at a very young age. And I still do now at my age, with having this amazing community and I'm having this amazing connection online with people, and of course having a partner that accepts me for life, you know, having a wife that understands me more than anyone, a best friend that understands all my ups and downs. And I have all of that. I have all these good things, right? And that's what I should be spending more time on. Yet I spend my time stressing and getting depressed over bullshit haters of like, and nothing in streaming, by the way. Like, I'm talking about like just old ass ties from my music days. It still is like burned into me, and I like those opinions. I don't want to say it, but I guess they matter. And I'm still trying to fight through that. When I can be spending, I'm like this, when I can be spending time having a much better life and time eating a nice dinner with Blue and the dogs, right? That's what I should be spending my time on and my efforts on. But I find myself mentally just trapped, and I try to recognize it and do it, but it's still a struggle to this day. So that is something that I feel like is that might be a little bit different from what you asked, but that's what I definitely I have the tendency to let things that shouldn't affect me for a really long time, and affect me a lot. I hope I answered the question, or we were able to answer the question in some degree. But again, thank you so much for everybody for sending in your questions. I think we'll keep doing this anonymous ones. We're getting some really cool questions. Hopefully this will be like the main part of the podcast going forward too. Like, I think like that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Like that last message was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. And of course, I just want to make it really clear. We don't know there's no email address or anything tied to this. So we don't know
who it is.
Unless, like, for example, Vaughn said, hey, this is Vaughn, but if you write in the message, we'll know. But without that, you don't need to have an email address. You don't need anything. It's just the message. So it's completely anonymous. So please feel free to write it. We'll let you guys know when the next podcast comes up, and then you guys can let us know. But yeah, final words, Blue? for the pod, coming back to the pod with a crazy note on a crazy note, I guess.
Kind of put me on the spot.
What do you want? This is what you expected?
I mean, no. I guess I wasn't really. I honestly thought we wouldn't get any questions, so it's
Yeah,
nice.
honestly,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's nice that we got actually quite a bit of a different, like, of varying, or of a variety, I guess. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking the time to type those out.
Hell yeah. And let's do it again. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye bye.
Take care.